Welcome to Creating a Self-Love Lifestyle, episode number 10. So, we're here today to talk about, of course, something very important in regards to creating a self-love lifestyle. And that is this: the questions that come up in regards to creating this is something that we have to address. So, what is it about a self love lifestyle that is different from the one that you've been living? We also want to ask the question, what can you expect? Like, why would it be worth it to make all these changes? And how does it typically manifest? So, as you can see, this is a very sort of pivotal point that we're at, because what we want to understand is actually how essential it is that you create a self love lifestyle. In fact, I'm going to say that if you are here, well, you already know that. Or we could just say that your being here is evidence enough. Evidence enough that this is essential. You see, living outside of a self love lifestyle is one where you are constantly looking for validation from the outside world. Self love is recognizing who you are, who you truly are, who in the very essence of your being you are. When we are on this self love journey, we truly begin to understand that the only answer to that question could possibly be is that we are divine beings. So if you have been living your life like probably 100% of the people on the earth have at one time or another been, you have been living life through the eyes of others. In other words, trying to contort yourself to be enough in their eyes, to be valuable enough, worthy enough, lovable enough, capable enough, smart enough, pretty enough, funny enough, all of those things. And what happens when we are living life according to the expectations of others, we are actually eroding the relationship between our true self and the self that we present to the world. In other words, we are disconnecting from the very source of our truth, our creator, the divine aspect of us. And so when we begin to create a self-love lifestyle, we are reuniting our heart with our higher self, that divine aspect of us. We are reuniting, realigning, and we are remembering who we are. Now, as you can well imagine, if you've been living your life according to the programming and the conditioning set upon you by others to be something other than what you truly are, this can cause a lot of confusion. And it can also possibly bring up fear. I hear this from my clients all around the world. So if this does come up, I want you to know that you're in very good company. In fact, I might even say that this is the more typical reaction when there's this sudden realization that the life that you've been living actually holds very little of you in it. I know this happened to me. It was this sudden realization all of a sudden that, oh my God, I've been working so hard to create this life of perfection. But in truth, there's very little of me, the true me in it. And what I had found also is that the me that was in it, in fact, it was more like I had put band-aids on that voice just to placate it, just to quiet it down a little bit so that I could continue on with this facade of creating life according to other people's um, expectations and other people's use for me. Now, that's a very interesting concept. Sometimes we don't realize that we are living life to be useful in somebody else's eyes. In truth, when that happens, we are actually enslaving ourselves because we don't dare step out of that program. We don't dare step out of that persona because what will happen if we're no longer useful to that person that we have completely submitted our authenticity to? I know that these words may feel a bit harsh to you, but this is the reality. And I wanted to address it today because you are at a very pivotal point. If you are here, you know that there is something awry in your life. You know that there's something calling to you. And I would say that this call is for you to just come back home, to come back home to who you truly are and reconnect with that source of who you are. Because that source is the source of all of the information that we need. It's where all of the information about who we are, what we're meant to be doing in this world, our soul's purpose can only be found there, can only be found when we are realigned with that energy of source of creation. Only then do we have access to it. And so, what I know beyond any shadow of doubt that you have been experiencing is a life that has been misguided, unfulfilled, this sense that you can never quite catch up. You can't really seem to grasp where you're supposed to be or what you're supposed to be doing. Maybe a sense of emptiness, maybe a sense of aloneness. And those feelings are based on this belief that you are separate from the rest of the world, when in fact, it's only because you are so distant from yourself that you feel separate from others. So it's this relationship that must be repaired. But, this also sort of calls to us to look at that fear that I mentioned earlier. What is the fear? Why are we so fearful to live authentically? Why are we so fearful to love ourselves? The answer to that is fear of abandonment. It's a fear that that person or those people or your family or society or your culture or your religion will no longer find you useful. And they will just simply kick you to the curb. That fear can be paralyzing. But what I want you to know is that what is stronger than that fear is the yearning in your heart for you to know you and for you to live you. It's stronger than anything. And it is relentless in its desire to embrace you and to lead you, to guide you. And so that discontent will continue until you cultivate the courage to follow your heart and to be you. I know because I'm speaking from personal experience, and now thousands and thousands and thousands of people that I have now been very blessed to have supported in making this change in their lives too. And so they are testament to what self-love will do for you. You will have a renewed connection to you and then to the world, because you will have connected to the truest, purest, most innocent part of you, the part of source energy, that God, that divine, that love within you. And so, having said that, I'd like to just leave these thoughts with you because they really are calling to you to let this marinate, let it percolate in you, and start to pay attention to the things that you do in your life that are to appease others and are in that moment also an act of self betrayal rather than self love. When we start to see these contrasts, the path ahead of us becomes very clear. And it's always the path that will take us to reconnection, to that place where we no longer will feel the separation or the fear of being abandoned, because we will have stopped abandoning ourselves. This is a call for you. And so I'd like to leave this affirmation with you because I truly believe that there's so much strength in our affirmations as we repeat these very precious sacred words to us. They arouse or awaken vibrational frequency within us. So we begin with I am. I am a magnificent child of God. I am worthy of expressing that God within me in all that I say and do. I am pure, innocent, and a total reflection of the love of that God that is alive and well within me. I leave that with you. I love you. And please subscribe, follow me, because every week I am putting up more and more videos to be here to support you and guide you on this essential journey of creating a self-love lifestyle. It's all for you, and it's all because of you. So much love to you, and I'll see you again next week. Bye-bye now.